Hey guys, Justin here from Simplified Investing again. I wanted to cover in this video my favorite trading indicator of 2021, which is going to be the Vwap, and how you guys can use it to your advantage in making profitable trades. And the number one reason why retail traders starting out with the Vwap do not find consistency and profitability, which I will discuss later on in the video, and you guys can actually overcome with this help and actually see results from solely using and trading with the vertical weighted average price as an indicator in 2021. Enjoy. In this video, I wanted to discuss my favorite trading indicator that I use in 2021 and one that you guys can use. I know there are so many out there, and really it's going to be important to understanding which ones you should actually use. One thing I've noticed is a majority of beginner traders that get started think that they need 30 different studies, 30 different indicators, whatever it might be. And that's simply not the case. So I will give my take on the number one indicator that I think you should use in 2021. Before I get started, if you are interested in joining our private team to get our course alerts and more, feel free to check out SimplifiedInvesting.com today. We would love to have you guys on board. All right, so for my number one indicator of 2021, one that I've used in the past, is going to be something called a Vwap. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. Vwap stands for vertical weighted average price. On this chart here, you can see this blue line, this purple line, and this yellow line. This is going to be the Vwap, vertical weighted average price. Now, what is it? Basically, it's a algorithm or a calculation that spits out these lines based on the volume, move, and the price. Really what it's doing is it's taking the price, the past price, so in this case, it would be on the 5-day, 5-minute, past price movement, multiplied by the volume, divided by the volume, and it will give you these lines here. Really, why do I find this important, or why do I use this? One, it takes into consideration volume. For those of you who have watched my previous videos, volume is a huge part of the trading that I do and something that we teach on our private course. Vwap takes into consideration this volume and the price action movement as well. Second thing, you have to take into consideration, do these indicators, are they common? And this is the biggest indicator that is going to be used by beginning retail traders. With that recent retail trading interest in flock to the market, the Vwap is going to become more and more prevalent as more and more people use this as a study and get the same buy-sell signals as you would get elsewise. So again, another reason that I just mentioned why I use this is going to be because it is becoming a lot more widely used as an indicator. With that prevalence and that increased use, it becomes more relevant to trading, and it will become a much more accurate trading indicator. So again, Vwap is going to be the price. As for what it's telling us, basically, like I mentioned before, it gives you these three lines. You can see this top blue line, this middle purple one, and then this bottom yellow one. It's going to give you, essentially, if you guys know support, resistance, whatever, this is how you can view this. This yellow line, the bottom Vwap is going to be the support. The top line, the top Vwap, is going to be a resistance. And then the middle line is vice versa. So for underneath, watch this purple line to be a resistance and rejection, or if we break above, a new support with a push to this top line here. So as you can see, this is in CrowdStrike Holdings here today. How would you apply the Vwap in your trading? Here's how you do it. You get this bottom bounce here off of this lower Vwap. We get this breakthrough of this middle, and then you could trade this up to that top Vwap where we do get rejected. And then again, as I mentioned, when you do break this middle line, the purple Vwap in my settings here, then you get that as a support. Again, you can see how we've been bouncing off of this. Currently now trying to make a run up towards that top Vwap at 222.64. So again, very, very prevalent study that is being used now. As it becomes more widely used across the market, the better this study will get. So again, bottom Vwap is a support, top Vwap resistance, and then the middle acts as either a support or resistance, depending on if you're below or above. So again, that's an example of how you'd use this on CrowdStrike Holdings. Bounce off of this bottom Vwap here, scalp to the upside here, or trade to the upside with the target price on this top Vwap at 222.05. Hypothetically, just an example, it's a lot different when this is moving in real time. It's easier to go back in hindsight, but that's how you would use this study in this case. Third thing on the Vwap is you want something that is trending. Again, we trade things that are in volume, trade things with great trends. When you have a sideways facing Vwap here, that clearly means that there isn't any trend. You want a upward facing Vwap or a downward facing Vwap to trade a trend. Again, price action will give you that trend. That's what you want to trade. So CrowdStrike, for example, on this day, we're going to have that sideways consolidation here. See how we're facing this downward facing VWAP here, indicating that clear downtrend, and we're just bouncing here. Again, when you're using the VWAP, don't just use it by itself. You need to combine it with the trend, and that is going to be key. So we trade the VWAP using trends, finding good entries in a trend. So like a downtrend here, or if we were uptrending like we are here, the middle VWAP is the best indicator if you do have a trend or if you are consolidating. So if you're just on a consolidation day, that middle VWAP will be flat. If you have an uptrend, this middle VWAP or the purple line will be pointing up, or clearly if it's a downtrend, we will get this downtrending here. That is going to be key to trade. You want to follow that and trade trends with volume when utilizing the VWAP, not just utilizing the VWAP by itself. Another thing to consider, as with any other indicator, it is going to be somewhat of a lagging indicator, meaning these lines aren't in real time. They're taking all this price and volume into it and then spitting out these lines. It does lag sometimes. So take that into note. Why is it one of my favorite indicators? Because this one isn't going to be as much of a lagging indicator as something like an EMA or RSI. So many people get in starting to use moving averages and things like that. They look good in hindsight, but they are going to be a lagging indicator. So I recommend utilizing the VWAP because this is going to be a more of a real-time move, spitting out these levels that you do have versus after the move, then they spit out the levels like a TTM scalper, TTM squeeze, whatever it might be. That's what that does. This is less of a lagging indicator that you do get on the VWAP. Next thing, and something you guys need to take into consideration, the biggest mistake that people use with the VWAP is, okay, once it hits the yellow line, I'm going to buy it, and once it hits the blue line, I'm going to sell it. Or once it hits the bottom VWAP, I'm going to buy calls, top VWAP, I'm going to buy puts. Now, that may sound good in hindsight, but you have to take into consideration, like right here, if you're trying to trade CrowdStrike, buying calls off of this bottom VWAP, we hit this bottom VWAP here and then fell down here. So again, don't just buy at highs and lows. That's the biggest problem that beginner traders have with the VWAP is it hits the bottom. Oh, I'm going to buy calls because I know it's going to go up. Oh, if it hits the top, I'm going to buy puts and it's going to go down. If only it was that easy. Again, don't just buy at the high and buy at the low. Wait and trade trends and volume and follow that VWAP as you get these levels that are spitting out from this algorithm versus just trying to buy low here at this yellow line. Yeah, does it bounce here? But what about if you get a call signal here, here, and you continuously run down? So again, trade things in trends. Don't just buy at the bottom, sell at the high, and try to perfectly time the VWAP. This is an indicator that can supplement your trading utilizing price action and volume in level 2, but not something you just use by itself saying, hey, I'm going to buy at this low and I'm going to sell at this high when it hits this line. It does look like that in hindsight, but this isn't a perfect indicator, as is no indicator going to be perfect. So take that into consideration here. Now, what do you combine it with? I just mentioned a little bit what I combine it with. Combine this with a trend, volume, level 2, and really price action. So price action is going to be the candlestick movement. Trend, which we recently discussed, is going to be, are we in a downtrend? Are we in an uptrend? Are we in a consolidation phase? Always try to trade things in a trend that aren't just chopping back and forth. Now, when you get these lower low downtrends here, you can expect this line to continuously push down and bounce and run off of these lower lows. Then when do you get an entry point? When you get these bounces in lower low trends, strong trends with volume here, utilizing lower consolidation points in this downtrend to scalp this to the downside here. That is going to be key when you are getting this. Now, when you combine it, really, what does this VWAP do? It gives you key levels to watch. So if you're getting in here, you know, hey, what's a resistance that I could watch or a profit taking point here? For example, here at 220.96, or, oh, hey, what could be a resistance level if we're in this downtrend to bounce to that we could get rejected at? Hey, we ended up getting rejected right at this middle VWAP and selling off here. So this is just an example of how you would use it on CrowdStrike. The VWAP will give you levels to watch. It won't just give you a buy and sell signal off of the levels. So again, this can give you a stop loss level. Say we're pushing up above here. Stop loss could be below the middle VWAP and target profit could be at the top VWAP, or vice versa down here. If you're entering puts, your stop loss could be at a break above this middle VWAP and your target profit is going to be this lower VWAP. So again, this provides you target profit or target levels for profit taking and also stop loss levels. It doesn't just provide you with, hey, when it hits the bottom VWAP, I'm buying calls. When it hits the top VWAP, I'm buying puts. So again, take that into consideration. Combine this with price action, volume, level 2, and time and sales. This will greatly help you get the most benefit out of this indicator. It is a great indicator if you do understand how to use it versus how beginner traders actually end up using this, which isn't its intended purpose. Now, the biggest thing is what timeframes work best for the VWAP. I've personally found if you are using the VWAP, the 5-day, 5-minute, and then if we go here, the 5-day, 15-minute, these are going to be the best timeframes to use this. A lot of times, if you are going out longer time frames here, like even on the 20-day, 1 hour, especially if you are trading options, it still can give you that sign, but there's a lot of movement within an hour that you can't really capture if you are trying to fully utilize the VWAP here. Like again, you can get this converging signal here, but it's way too far behind. As the longer time frame you go out, the more it will lag. So if we do zoom in here on like the 5-day, 5-minute, the less lag you get in these VWAP lines. A lot easier to find those target levels here, get these stop levels, these target profit levels, and these key levels to watch for the particular ticker that you are watching. So again, the 5-day, 5-minute, and the 5-day, 15-minute will be the best time frames that I have found for this particular study. Now, it may be different for you. You could find a better time frame that works for you. However, these are just 2 time frames that I have found to be, have it be the best time frame indicator for me. Now, one thing to note, if you are a longer term swing trader, one study that does resemble the VWAP similarly is going to be Bollinger Bands. If you guys have heard of them, Bollinger Bands are more made for long-term time frames. So if you're a person that's swing trading on the daily, the weekly, the yearly chart, Bollinger Bands essentially capture the same thing without taking in volume, and they will give you these 3 lines that are mainly meant for swing traders in long-term time frames. So VWAP is going to be mainly for day trading and people that are doing intraday scalps, short-term swing trades, intraday day trades, whatever it might be. Bollinger Bands, on the other side, will be for those of you that are going to be swing trading. So with that being said, that wraps up my favorite indicator to use in 2021. If you found this video helpful, if you could leave it a thumbs up and subscribe, it would be greatly appreciated. And again, if you are interested in checking out our private team, feel free to check out simplified-investing.com today. Thank you guys so much and wish you all a green week. Thanks.